Believed dead for 70 years, 93-year-old man suddenly reappears, shocking his entire family. It all began with an old photograph, a distant memory, and a reunion that seemed impossible, a story that unfolded across the straits between two faraway lands. Why was the younger sister never allowed to respond throughout her life? Why did the elderly man forget that he had just found his sister? And after 70 long years, could the two siblings even recognize each other? This wasn't just a reunion, it was a lifetime of waiting. Stay with us until the end to witness a moment that brought millions to tears. The ache in my heart has never gone away. For so many years, I've held on to one hope, that in the time I have left, I might return home, just once, to see my birthplace again. But I know I can't let sorrow take over. What's done is done. After more than 7 decades of separation, 93-year-old Liu Guangde, a retired veteran living in Taiwan, was finally reunited with his younger sister in their hometown. The story behind this reunion is one filled with heartbreak, perseverance, and deeply moving emotion. Mr. Liu, now 93, has spent most of his life in Taiwan, yet he still speaks Mandarin with a thick northeastern accent. In 1948, when he was a young railway police officer in Shenyang, he received an urgent transfer to Huludao. That sudden reassignment changed the course of his life forever. He moved repeatedly over the years, before eventually settling in Taiwan, far from the home he once knew. He remembers the day they parted as if it were yesterday, a chilly autumn morning. His mother was cooking in the kitchen. His 9-year-old sister stood in the doorway, waving goodbye as he left for work. To everyone, it seemed like just another ordinary day. No one could have imagined that goodbye would stretch on for more than 70 years. For all that time, he never returned, not once, and had no contact with his family. Only recently, he began asking his daughter, Liu Tufuang, about the sister he barely remembered. He spoke of a place called Haicheng, a name that meant nothing to Tufuang. Until then, she hadn't even known her father had a sister. My little sister, I don't even remember anymore. Maybe someone will visit me, maybe not. At this age, my memory's fading. I'm over 90 now. How could I possibly recall everything from back then? Life is full of uncertainties. Despite living in Taiwan for more than 70 years, Liu Guangde never lost his rustic northeastern speech. And every time he spoke of his sister, his eyes would fill with a quiet sorrow, the kind that comes from a lifetime of unanswered longing. So, who was this sister? Where was she now? This is my mother. That's my third brother, his wife, and these are their children. Hands trembling, he held up a faded old photo. I brought this with me from the mainland and have kept it with me ever since. All my memories of home, they live in this one photograph. As he grew older, his longing to return only deepened, but the path home had long since faded. The only thing he remembered was a sister, 12 years younger than him, who would now be in her 80s. Was she still alive? Or had she too passed on? Dad's not eating. You don't like dumplings, right? His daughter, Tu Fuang, explained that her father wasn't picky about food, except for one thing. He never touched dumplings. In northeastern China, dumplings symbolize reunion. Perhaps, after 70 years of being away from home, that one symbol of family was just too painful to swallow. I'm the youngest. Dad was already older when I was born, so he's the one who raised me, took me everywhere. The reporter asked gently, "What about your mother?" I think I was only 2 or 3 months old when she passed, from illness. After vanishing in 1948, a man lived a quiet life in Taiwan, until one photo sparked a family reunion 70 years later. When Liu Guangde arrived in Taiwan in 1948, he began a modest and difficult life. It wasn't until he was 57 that he had his only child, a daughter named Liu Tufuang, but happiness was short-lived. Not long after giving birth, his wife fell ill and passed away, leaving father and daughter to rely on each other through the years. After her death, Liu's longing for home deepened, but his homeland, and any trace of his family, had faded like mist. He no longer had a single piece of contact information. In his heart, one question remained. Were they still alive? Would he ever be able to return to the mainland, even once? My father is old now, his daughter Tu Fuang shared. All he hopes for in these final years is to fulfill his last wish, to reunite with his family and bring closure to his life. Determined to help, she registered his information on a missing relative's website. As soon as it was submitted, the site's team quickly launched a search campaign in Haicheng, but after 70 years of silence, could any of his family still be found? While Tu Puang was searching from Taiwan, far away in Panjin City, Liaoning Province, a young man named Ding Shan uncovered a secret that had been hidden in his family for decades. His grandmother, now 81, had lived with them for many years. No matter where the family moved, she always carried one thing: a worn and faded photograph. In it were two people Ding Shan had never seen before. Curious, he asked who they were. His grandmother stared at the photo in silence, then finally opened up, revealing a secret she'd kept for most of her life. "This is my second brother. We called him Gay. His name was Zhao Ju Xuan. The one next to him is Ju Hai, and the youngest is Ju Xiang. There were 5 siblings in all. When did he leave? The day I was still clinging to that old table, watching him walk out the door. Her name was Zhao Ju Kun, one of 5 siblings in the Zhao family. In 1948, on the very day captured in the photograph, her second brother, Zhao Ju Xuan, left for work and eventually ended up in Taiwan. No one ever heard from him again. For more than 70 years, his fate remained a mystery. She remembered every detail, standing at the end of the alley, watching her brother disappear into the distance, never knowing it would be their final goodbye. Decades passed without a single word. The family assumed the worst, that he had died. Until one day, a letter from Taiwan arrived. Inside were a photograph and a few short lines. In that moment, the silence of 70 years was broken, and the entire family was overwhelmed with emotion. Everyone was so happy, just knowing he was alive. Finally, we had an answer. We just hoped he could come home one day. But you never wrote back. No, my brothers read the letter, but they wouldn't let me see it. They didn't allow me to reply. That photograph from Taiwan became her most treasured keepsake, the only link left to the brother she lost. And the letter she was never allowed to answer became her greatest regret. For years, she could only imagine what his life was like. Was he healthy? Was he happy? If only I had written back. Would he have returned? Our mother never got to see him again. If she had lived past 100, maybe she would have. She passed at 79. Father died at 83. After her brother left, Zhao Jukun searched everywhere she could, and eventually learned he had gone to Taiwan. Now, living with her children and grandchildren in Panjin, she sometimes walks to the shore, gazing out at the endless sea, as if still hoping her brother might suddenly return. 70 years have passed. The little girl who once waved goodbye now has silver hair, and still, she waits. And her brother, the one who disappeared into the unknown, will he ever come home? A photo sparked hope. 1 week later, a 70-year separation was finally broken. Just days after the search announcement, joyful news came from Haicheng, the hometown long lost in memory. Take a good look at this man. Does he look familiar? When his photo was shown, one of the grandchildren immediately gasped. He looks so much like Grandpa. When I squint, it's like I'm seeing him again. Really? Then there's hope. I thought he had passed. He's over 90 after all. I never imagined this. It's unbelievable. I'm so happy. In the online search form, Liu Guangde had revealed his real name, and it turned out he was none other than Zhao Ju Xuan, the long-lost older brother of Zhao Jokun. When the Zhao family in China learned that a relative in Taiwan might still be alive, they were overwhelmed with joy. Thanks to the efforts of the search team, the siblings were finally able to reconnect after more than 70 years. But just as the miracle was taking shape, a tragic reality surfaced. Liu Guangde, or Zhao Ju Xuan, could no longer remember it. Old age and dementia had taken their toll. Even the fact that he had found his sister had faded from his memory. Dad, do you remember your sister? Of course, I remember her very well. But I'm old now, and the little girl from back then isn't little anymore. Did you ever think you'd see her again? Your aunt. She probably hoped too. But what could we do? The times tore us apart. Dad, did you know we're flying to see her next week? With each passing day, his memory slipped further away. Every detail had to be reminded gently, again and again. But in just 1 week, he would stand face to face with the sister he had not seen in 70 years. Would he recognize her? Then the day arrived. Liu Guangde, Zhao Xuan, the man who had spent a lifetime in Taiwan, was about to see his sister again. But even in that final hour, he forgot. Would the moment bring his memory back? Dad, today we're flying to Panjin to meet your sister. Are you excited? She'll be so happy. The flight's just after 3. We'll be in Shenyang tonight. On the way to the airport, he again forgot where they were going. Each moment had to be gently repeated by his daughter. Meanwhile, in Panjin, Zhao Kun was also preparing to meet her brother. She carefully chose her best outfit, silently hoping he might stay for a few days. He's really here? Is it true? Help Grandpa with his luggage. Emotions surged. Tears flowed freely. My heart, it aches so much. After all these years, I always wondered, would I live long enough to see my home again? He choked back tears, trying to comfort his sister, though his own emotions were overflowing. The young man who once walked away full of dreams now moved slowly and carefully, and the little girl from his memories now had silver hair. Sadly, their mother had not lived to see her son return. But in his heart, she had never left. Not for a single day in 70 years. More than 25,000 days and nights. He had never stopped thinking of home. So many things he had longed to say. Who would have thought that a single glance, 70 years ago, would become a lifetime apart? And now, Zhao Xuan was finally home. This was the moment he had waited for his entire life. The cornfields of his childhood, the small stream from long ago, all came back to life in his mind. This time, his children and grandchildren stood by his side. This time, it wasn't just a dream. By the stream they once played beside, he took his sister's hand. The road home, the journey of a lifetime, would never be forgotten. 70 years, an entire lifetime, just to return once. But not everyone gets the chance to see their loved ones again. The reunion between Liu Guangde and his sister is living proof that even as time passes, the bonds of family remain. Have you ever lost contact with someone you love? What would it feel like if someone returned to you from a distant memory? Share your thoughts in the comments. Tap the like button if you believe in the miracle of family. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that move the heart.